Hello and welcome to another session in English language. And today we're going to focus on adjectival clause as well as we're going to take a register on film and TV. But before that, let us review the previous lesson. Welcome back. Like I said, we're going to take our lesson first on adjectival clause, which is a type of subordinate clause. A type of subordinate clause. So, let's begin the lesson. Now, we have other types of clauses. We have a noun clause. We have an adverbial clause. Okay? So, we're going to look at this today. Okay, so just like the name implies, adjectival clause performs the function of an adjective, or it behaves like an adjective. So it does whatever an adjective does. Basically, what do adjectives do? Adjectives qualify or modify a noun or its equivalent. They modify or qualify a noun or its equivalent. And how do we identify adjectival clauses? Most times they begin with a relative pronoun. So that's how we identify adjectival clauses. Most times they begin with what? Relative pronouns. We have who, that, whose, where, whom, etc. So that's how we can identify an adjectival clause. And also take note that they are always marked off by a comma. So let's look at the expression, the man whose car was stolen has reported the case. Okay, so you can see the expression in italics. Okay, and it means that is trying to give us additional information. It's trying to help us modify. It's telling us more about the noun phrase, the man. It's telling us more about the noun phrase, the man. Okay, so you could read without that the man has reported the case. Which man? The man whose car was stolen. Then we have the boy whom you praised so well has been rewarded. So the noun phrase here is the boy. Whom you praise so well is the adjectival clause. Alright? So let's take more examples. I will retire to a city where the standard of living is low. So you can always read I will retire to a city. But we want to know more about the city here. So this whole expression, modifies or gives additional information on that. The man I met told me the secret. So, I met there is an adjectival clause. Okay. Then we have other examples. So, let's quickly take our register on film and TV. Film and TV. So, today we know that the television, abbreviated TV, and film production have grown. So today we want to acquaint ourselves with knowledge on that, so that when you hear things like that, you are not a novice. So let's begin with slanting the news. It actually means you express the news in a biased or prejudiced way that could mislead the public. Okay? So every time the news is expressed in a biased or prejudiced form, we say that the news has been slanted. Okay, the news has been slanted. Then we have what you call curtail. So curtail actually means to restrict. Then during film production, we always have the director. Okay, at the end of the movie, you always see executive producer, you see director. Who is a director? A director is any person, male or female, who directs the performance of a movie. Okay? He directs the performance of a movie. That is, he or she tells the actors or actresses what to do. Okay? Based on the script that has been provided. Okay? So, the person who directs the performance of a movie is a director. But the person who is a director is a whole lot different from who is a what? Producer. Okay? Different from who is a what? Producer. The producer is a person who has general control of the money, the financial capacity. You know? So the person is not concerned with the performance. The person is concerned with sponsorship. Okay? Then we have the box office. The box office is where seats in the theater, cinema is actually paid for. Okay? So when you hear box office is actually an office where the seats in the theater or the cinema actually are purchased. Okay? Then we have to rehearse. So when you hear we want to rehearse, you hear actors say, I went for rehearsals. It actually means to learn and practice something for a later performance. Then we have also who you call a star. Okay, I believe in Gambia there you have your own star actors. You have your own star musicians. So any skillful and famous performer is a star. Okay. Then we have an audience. The audience are the people listening or watching a performance. The people listening or watching a performance, especially when it has to do with entertainment. We use the word audience. When it has to do with sports, we call that spectators. When it has to do with religion, we call them congregation. But people that watch a performance, especially an entertaining performance, we call that audience. Alright, then we have the curtain call. Okay? Now, the curtain call is always made by the audience to an actor or actress at the end of the play. And how do they do that? They do that by an applause. Okay? Do that by an applause. It shows their approval that they were pleased with the performance. Then we have special effects. Now, these are effects that are used to produce certain scenes. It could be a sound effect. It could be a lightning effect. So anything that is done to achieve, an outstanding performance, we call that special effect. Then we have also what you call editors. Editors, determine the final content of the text. So they work on every detail. Okay? They go beyond what has been done. They try to make sure that it comes out, very well. Then we have the movie theater. A movie theater is where you show films. Okay? Then we have the costumer. Okay? We have a costumer. Anyone who designs and supplies costumes is a costumer. Then we have what we call lightning. Lightning simply is not thunderstorm. Lightning simply means an apparatus for supplying artificial light effects. Okay? And this is very important in filming and television. Then we have where you call the studio. The studio is the workplace. Okay? The studio is the workplace where movies and TV programs are produced, where they are recorded. Okay? So that's where we call a studio. Then we have what you call subtitle. To subtitle actually means to translate, a foreign language or lingua franca. Okay? To translate that. Okay, so you say subtitle. So if you know that your audience, alright, would not fully grasp any foreign language, you would translate that. So we call that subtitle. Then we have what we call voiceover. Now, voiceover actually is a narration by an unseen speaker in a film or television show. Okay, so sometimes you can have somebody saying there was a land where people were subjected to loads of slavery, and today that land is no more. Now, that's a narration by an unseen speaker who is not a part of the acting, alright, but the person does what they call a voice over. So with this, we've come to the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much for joining. To refresh your memory and recall all that has been taught in this lesson, I would encourage you to take the test that appears on your screen.